Yo, it's me, Rich Herring. This is the last of our retro Rahalastapa videos because we don't have any more that we haven't put out until we film some new ones, which is starting next week. This one has got Nick fucking Helm in it, and he is a good lad, so I hope you'll enjoy this. As I say, we're starting filming a new series on June the 6th. Our first guests are Ian Lee and Tony Law. There's still a few tickets left for that, but it's selling really well. The next week is Doc Brown and Lauren Laverne. Which I think will be amazing, and quite a few tickets left for that, but please come along if you want. Hoping on the 20th, I'm talking to David Cross, we're trying to make it work. So we'll see, that would be nice, wouldn't it? And Vic Reeves on the 27th, that's sold out. And then we've got Nish Kumar coming up, we've got Sophie Hayden coming up, we've got Tim Minchin and Russell Kane the same night on the 18th of July. There's still a few more guests to book, but it's looking pretty good. So that will be back, and I think that will start on about the 15th of June, going out one a week. That'll be 16 episodes, and then there'll be another 18, I think, in the autumn. So you're getting 34 episodes this year, I think that is. If you want to help us make those, we'll probably do a Kickstarter later in the year, but the more we can get now, the less we'll have to ask for on the Kickstarter, the more likely it is to work. So if you want to help us make the next lot, 16, if you go to www.gofaster.com/badges, you can give us whatever you think that 16 episodes is worth. If you like, if it's £1, I think that's 6p an episode, then that would be lovely. If enough of you do it, that will help us pay for that. You can do it monthly. We're going to put all the money from June and July from the badges into the pot for Rahalastapa. And also, if you go to gofasterstripe.com, you can buy a DVD of me interviewing myself. If 3,000 people bought that, that would pay for all of this series. And I know some of you got it already. It was on the Kickstarter. There's an hour of me talking to myself, which is slightly self-indulgent. And that's me saying that. And then there's lots of backstage stuff from, I think, Series 7, it might be Series 6. I've lost count of which series we're on. Anyway, thank you very much for watching all these, and we'll be back very soon with more. Here is Nick Flickin' Helm.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Leicester Square Theatre. Please welcome a man trying out his new Frank Sidebottom tribute act. It's Richard Herring! Hello, I am Richard Herring. I am Richard Herring. Hello, welcome to... You'd have to buy the video to see what that was about. Welcome to Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast, or as all the cool kids are calling it, Rahalastapa. Wow, you are much better than last week's audience. This is the second time this has happened. Someone sent me a mask of my own face. Just slightly creepy. John Monson's just backstage saying, that doesn't look like you though, what's happened? And I said, well, it's disembodied head with no eyes in it. It's not like... it's www.masquerade.com, masquerade.com. But they sent me one before and there was no explanation of what it was when I was in Wolverhampton. I thought it was actually quite threatening when that arrived with just that arriving through the post. But apparently I'm meant to sign it. Well, I've signed the other one and sent it back, but this is I don't think I want that. I'm going to give that to the butlers for their attendance. They've attended many times. Maybe next time you're butling, you can put that on, pretend your boss, whoever that may be, will go, oh my goodness, it's Richard Herring has come in butling, because I am aware of his work. They're butlers, that's their actual, but they're bona fide. Oh, where have you all come from? There was no one here, and now they're all here. What's been going on? Where were you? You were in the street. You've just moved up. You've nicked the seats. They aren't your seats. Have you nicked the seats as well? They wouldn't let you through because you were late. Yeah, good. Yeah, fuck you. 3 minutes is 3 minutes, isn't it? You can't come blundering through here like a bull in a china shop. They were here on time, weren't you? Despite all whatever you've been getting up to with your dildos. What's your name? Helen, what do you do for a living, Helen, apart from being late? Do you turn up at work this late, 3 minutes? You're an accountant. Well, you know, you should know about counting, shouldn't you? And what numbers and time. You're jet lagged. But no accountant travels. You're an international accountant. Yeah, just been on holiday. Where did you go on holiday? You went up the Mauritius. I've been there. And that's nice. I've been to Mauritius, 40th. That's where the dodo comes from. Did you see any dodos? They're dead. Are they, though? Have you ever seen a dodo? I've seen one in the Pitt Rivers Museum in Oxford. There's a lot of dodos in Jersey. Oh, fucking hell, she's mental. You've turned 40. What's your name? Frank. 40. I wish I was 40 again, I really do. I got very upset about it at the time, but what I didn't appreciate was that I would get older than that. And it's much, much worse. It's really bad. 40 is fantastic. When you get to 46, honestly, everything stops working. I can't get erections anymore. I can't, when I try to ejaculate, nothing comes out the end. Just a puff of dust comes out the end. So your testicles get really massive, and they kind of, if I took my trousers off, they'd be right down. The gravity takes its effect. So what I'm saying, enjoy being 40 while you can still. It is something you don't look forward to. It's awful. What do you do? Are you an accountant as well? Are you? Did you meet at work? Did you like the way? Did you like a spreadsheet? No. You pulled a great face there. I wish I'd been filming that. Never mind. No, what happened? How did you get together? It's accountancy college, so you're there together. Bright young things looking forward. Anything. We could do anything in this world as long as it involves accountancy. How old were you when you met at when you were teenagers, or you went later? How long have you been together? 12 years ago, so, you know, mature students. That's good. Yeah, sort of mature, Frank, aren't it? No, not very mature, that's good. Everyone's gone quiet now. It's just turned into a conversation between a man and two accountants now, which is all fine, but no one wants to pay to see that, do they? So... And I think I'll get my guest on. I should get him on because he's very funny, and this is not that funny. So this is the last of the series. It's unbelievable. It felt like a fucking long series, but we've only done 6 weeks. Oh, I've given it away. There are 12 altogether. It's not doing too bad. So we've literally saved the probably 4th best till last. He is best known. That's good out of 12. That's pretty good. We'll reevaluate it at the end of the interview. He is probably best known from appearing in an IKEA advert in Poland. That is probably why most people are here. But he is also Ringer from The Day They Came to Suck Out Our Brains. Will you please welcome Nick Helm, ladies and gentlemen? Nick Helm. Welcome along. How are you doing? How are you? Pick up a mic, make yourself at home.
Hello.
Hello, you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good, good. Tell us a bit about the IKEA ad that you appeared in Poland.
Yeah, I did an IKEA ad in Poland.
That's what everyone knows you from.
That's what everyone shouts at us, cheat at me and say, do the lines from the IKEA ad. Hallo, Gorgania! So I went, I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
And
no one's judging you.
No, but I think now I wouldn't have done it.
Okay.
But it was better than the gambling ad I did. So. Yeah, I didn't have any money, and so I went for auditions to this street, actually, outside the Leicester Square Theatre. So just outside here, there's like a casting agency. Spotlight. And I went in and I did an audition in English. Yeah. And that went fine. And then I did another. I did get you to be like improvise and do stuff. And I did stuff and it was fine. And then they said, "Great, you got the part." And I was like, "Great." And they said, "You got to go to Poland to film it." And I was like, "Okay." And it was winter, and so I went out to Poland, and I'd never really been away at that point in my life, and And so I went out to Poland. They threw me out at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I got there, and then I had a costume fitting, and then halfway through the costume fitting, I heard people talking. It was all Polish crew, and I heard them talking, and I overheard something about the fact that I'd be speaking in Polish tomorrow, and I'm not. I'm not Polish, and I've never been good at languages.
No.
And and if I had been good at languages at school, I still wouldn't be good at Polish because no one ever studies Polish. And so I said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And they said, "Yeah, you're going to be talking." So I got them all to spell it out phonetically for me.
Right.
And I spent all night learning it. And it was Polish winter, and there was snowbanks that were about 10 feet tall. Well, but I'm not fucking... They were like taller than me. They were huge snowbanks up and down this street. But we were filming as if it was autumn, or maybe spring, but not summer. And so my costume that they gave me was they gave me like this little cotton T-shirt and kind of like a camouflage cotton vest, like jacket type thing, and they'd just cleared the 10 feet of pavement that I was going to be standing on of snow, and there was snow everywhere else except for the bit that I was standing on, wearing spring clothing, and everyone else was wearing kind of like you wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't recognise anyone because they all had scarves over their faces and hats all down there, and I just remember that like it was just fucking cold. They had like a food table over there with like jam donuts on and kind of Coca-Cola, and the jam in the donuts had frozen solid, right? And it was just the fucking coldest I've ever fucking been, right? And like in between each take, they'd put a jacket around me. And the idea is that I'm in the street and my girlfriend's dumped me and she's throwing all my clothes out, but she's throwing them like they've been itemised in my wardrobe. It's funny. And you had to be there. So they were all kind of like... So in between each take, they'd kind of put a jacket around me and a hat on me, but because they put a hat on me, they had to take the hat off and then redo my hair. So it was pointless them doing that anyway. And what they'd do is they'd give me ice to chew on.
Yeah.
And I was just reasoning that the reason they're giving me ice to chew on is it's a Polish thing, because it's so cold out there that what it is, if you chew on ice, it lowers your body temperature so that you feel the cold less. I thought, this is fucking genius. And then I realised it was just so they couldn't see my breath on film. Right? It's like, you fucking cunts. Right? And every time, all morning I've been like chewing ice and they'd all been wincing at me. And then at the end of it, there was a bit, and it was like, the punchline of the thing is that, she's thrown all these clothes out and now she's going to start on the CDs. And there was a fucking guy up a stepladder that was like hurling at me like ninja stars, right? And I actually had to literally, they were like missing my head and exploding on the cars behind me. And then I finished filming, and then they went to do the interiors, and I sort of said, well, I'm going to go now. And they said, yeah. So I got a taxi to my hotel, and then I went to the airport and came home. Nobody said goodbye to me. It was like, it was literally just like, are you fucking kidding, right? Yeah. So, I mean, thanks for bringing that up, Rich.
Rude. Rude Polish people. They're very rude.
But it was really bizarre. They phoned me on my way home and said, sorry, there's been like a mistake and we didn't mean you to just go.
Yeah. There's a fruit basket waiting for you. There's some free IKEA furniture to take home with you. It's flat pack.
But it was, and then in the end, I had to learn Polish, so I said some Polish. I said, Ale kochanie, Miszka się przepraszam. And I was like, przepraszam is a word, and it begins with P, but it sounds like it begins with S. And so I said, przepraszam, and they said, no, it's przepraszam. So I go, przepraszam, and they'd go, no, listen to me, przepraszam. I'd be, yeah, okay, all right, przepraszam. They said, no, it's with a P, przepraszam. It's like, yeah, przepraszam. No, listen to me, przepraszam. That's what I'm doing, przepraszam. So like, przepraszam. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, przepraszam. No, listen to me, przepraszam. I'd be like, yeah, that's what I'm doing, no, listen to me, with a P. Przepraszam. Then they dubbed me. So that was it.
Why didn't they just get a Polish man?
Why didn't they just get a Polish man? Why didn't they just get a Polish man?
There must be a lot of Polish men who look like you, as if they wanted that look.
Why did nobody officially tell me at any point that I had to speak Polish? I mean, it's not funny, but why?
Did you ever see the actual finished advert?
Yeah, I did. Because I was dubbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It's weird because I'm speaking in Polish. I mean, it's fine.
And did the dubbed man sound like you, or was he?
No, it was quite deep. Ale kochania. Mieszka, przepraszam. With a P.
Yeah. Przepraszam. What does it mean?
It means mouse, I'm sorry.
Mouse, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like an affectionate mouse. Mieszka, przepraszam. With a P. Przepraszam. It's an affectionate nickname.
Good. So, often that first question doesn't lead to much.
Well,
but that's where the gold. You get the gold by discovering the obscure. That's that listed on your agent's list, that in one of your achievements on their website. So if they didn't do that, I wouldn't know about it.
Everyone was talking about it. I can't find it though. I wanted to use it for something. To say that I used to have start off at one of my shows with I used to have a Polish girlfriend, but it didn't work out. And then do the show, and at the end I'd show this thing, and it would be a really emotional show. I'm glad I didn't do it now. That's
I think everyone's in awe. That would be imagine. That would be amazing.
I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it online. So, so if you can find it, then.
If there are any Polish people listening, and if they're the polite Polish people that there aren't many of.
Yeah.
From judging from that story, then please send it.
I don't think I insulted.
There's Polish people in because they were just booing me, which is not very polite. So that is just proving my point. I'm going to get straight into this because I think this might take up the rest of the podcast. Each week I've been looking at the Dirty Britcom Confessions website. Are you aware of this website?
Someone emailed me about it on. Texted me about it on Thursday.
Oh, did they?
But because they texted me, the link on my phone didn't work properly, and
good.
so all I managed to read was, I'd like to stick my finger in Nick Helm's belly button and twirl it around.
Yes.
And that made me sick in a way. Very few things. These are
fans' confessions. That is one. I want to put my finger in Nick Helm's belly button, then twirl it.
Yeah.
Can I give it a go? Just see what that would be like. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want.
You can. I've got a really deep.
That's why I guess that's why.
I'm practically hermaphrodite.
I've got very short fingers. You think that? Will I lose a finger in there? It could be the belly button that travels through time.
It would go. I mean, this is degrading, isn't it? Didn't you did the student gig and you took your trousers off and then you quit stand up after that, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then you came back to
This could be the same. Let's have a look.
Can we do it in
it
private? I mean, that's worse in a way, isn't it? It's like not in front of the others. This is really a thing for two.
I don't think either of us want to do.
You're going to finger fuck my belly button.
And then the person who wrote that will then get to watch this and masturbate while they. But they might be going, I don't want Richard Herring's stubby little fingers in there.
I get a lot of belly button fluff as well.
Do you? That's all right. Well, I don't mind.
Where does that come from? I did a routine about it, but I still never got down to it.
It comes off your clothes.
Yeah, but like all of your clothes and all of your hairs do like hand to hand kind of thing, and they pass all the bits of fluff all the way down, and then you store it here.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying happens? Because that's mental, Richard.
I've only got, it's like a little pube in there, that's all this. It's a belly pube, look. We both got quite hairy bellies, I've shown mine.
It's not a pube though, is it?
No.
Unless all of your little body hairs have gone yank, and if you can train it to do that, then...
Let's not prolong this any longer. Because, to be honest, this is the least of our worries.
All right, give me both barrels. I know it's deep. Fuck off! Hey, look, I'm just going along with this because I don't want to be the prick in the room, all right? If Richard Herring says, let me finger fuck your belly button, right? Hey, it's a fucking podcast, right? Right, he's asked to do this. I haven't volunteered this, right? So don't you all fucking reel in disgust like there's nothing fucking wrong with you.
Come on, let's do it. We'll do it.
I'm not sure I want to now, bitch. Now, fuck me. I shouldn't watch it. It's quite sweaty in there at the moment.
Very sweaty.
I'm wearing thermals and knitwear.
It was not nice, and it was really deep.
It was
I didn't
deep.
even get, it was like the back of the cupboard in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I didn't even get. I think I
Didn't
might
feel
have
too
actually,
much twirling, Rich. Didn't feel too much twirling.
I might actually have got into his mother's uterus there.
Leave Gene out of this.
That was just one of the. There are many, many of yours, many fantasies, which I think is interesting. It's like with Greg Davies, there were similarly elaborate fantasies for Greg. I think that there's a certain type of comedian who elicits certain feelings in people, and I think you and Greg are similar in this. Yours are better than his. I need Nick Helm to shout into my vagina.
Once,
Have you met this woman?
no, I haven't. But once there was a girl that, this was like years ago, but once there was I don't know.
We can always edit that. Hold on. I've learned a technique from John Ronson.
But
Go on.
I cannot possibly tell you, Rich.
Oh, go on.
All right. Once years ago, this girl had seen me on stage, and she was visibly excited to have met me.
Yeah.
And she said, "Shout at me." And I'm not really like that off stage, and I panicked, and I said, "I'm going to shout your clit off." And
So a word of warning. I don't think the idea of shouting.
and I did. So
It's not the most. The image it conjures up is like of a cavern of some kind. That's the problem. Imagine this woman's going to open her legs, you shout it, it's going to echo around this massive cavernous space.
is anybody there?
It's not the most flattering thing. Okay, this one starts badly for you,
Yeah.
but then becomes interesting. I really hated Nick Helm for so long.
Mum?
But ever since he was in Dictionary Corner on 8 out of 10 Cats 2 Countdown and sang to Susie Dent, I've just wanted to shag him.
Mum! That's, I mean, what do you say to that? Yes, please.
Also, Susie would be more than welcome to join in. What did you sing to Susie Dent?
It depends what I did. I did it twice.
Did you?
So yeah, in one night. I sang twice. I sang it on 2 occasions. I sang one song. I can't remember. I think I sang "Don't Fall in Love with Me" once, which is a song that I've written. And then I sang another song that I wrote especially for her the second time because they wanted me to do another song, and I sang a song called Susie. So you're just gonna. I mean, there's no way of contacting them back to find out exactly what they want you to do in order to make that happen, is there?
It's amazing that the power of song has turned hate into lust.
Not really. I mean, that's why it's so popular.
Okay, I suppose. That way all pop stars start because they think everyone hates them, and then they start singing,
Oh, most pop stars start because singers start because they want to get shagged, don't they?
Yeah.
That's the running theme with I read autobiographies, and that is the running theme. That they all wanted to have sex at some point.
Yeah, that is true. Well, there's someone who wants to have sex with you, so it's worked for you.
I hated Nick Helm for so long.
For so long, you haven't even going that long. So that must be like someone who's found you very early in your career. God, I hate him. And not only just I hate him, I'm going to hate him. I'm going to track him down and keep hating him until he's on TV. And if he's on Countdown, I might like him. Okay. I dream of licking and kissing Nick Helm's hairy belly. And I think we have to. Do we have to do? I think we have to do it, don't we? Just to see.
I've been a big fan of yours for years, so this is a dream come true.
Okay. I did it. I don't mind kissing it. It's the
This is fucking degrading.
For who, though? For which of us is more degraded
Nobody
by licking
wins.
your belly?
Nobody wins, but
Oh, that's just a kiss.
oh
You wait till the one that comes after the next one.
god.
So yeah, this I genuinely that was hot. That was so.
That wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't.
Was it?
It wasn't that good.
It wasn't that good. Why are people obsessed with the bellies?
Because they're cunts. Because everyone judges you on fucking face value or belly value.
Okay. I'll whisk through the rest. I want Nick Helm to destroy me. Seems awful. I'm not going to do this.
Destroy
This
me.
next one. I'm not going to allow you to destroy me. Nor am I going to do this one. I just want to pull Nick Helm's pants down when he's on stage and give him a good spanking. You want to do that?
Not really.
No. And then on a theme, I've recently developed a kink for hairy men. I fantasise about lying naked on a massive bed with velvet sheets. So I like the little details like that.
This is nice.
And then having Joe Wilkinson, Nick Helm, and David O'Doherty rub their beards on me.
This actually happened.
We would then proceed to have an orgy.
Yeah.
That's
where the beards come in, for mopping up afterwards. It's great. Oh, fuck off. I haven't brought this up.
Who proceeds to have an orgy? We would then proceed to have an orgy. We'd then have an orgy. Now let's proceed to the orgy stage of this. In the jacuzzi and afterwards shower together.
We'd have the orgy in the jacuzzi.
Yeah, and then you'd have
What
a shower.
about them nice velvet sheets going to waste?
They're all back there. They've got beard hair all over them.
Velvet's got one of them textures, though, that kind of is a bit of a turn-off sometimes, isn't it? Depends which way you rub it. Like penises.
The only velvet thing I've got in my house is that toilet paper. So that doesn't...
Bloody hell, you must have to wash that every time.
So let's talk about your career, so to speak. It's going very well. Going extremely well. I've been very, very much enjoying Uncle. Yeah, some fans of Uncle in.
We're not in America, though, are we? So
that's why it was quite a half-hearted...
Yeah, it was like, hey!
But it's very good. In fact, I think it's one of the best sitcoms to come out of the United Kingdom in quite a little while. That is my personal view.
That's very nice of you. That's
Well, I've licked your stomach now. I've got to be
much.
nice. But it's, but it's very good. It's very strong. I'm slightly annoyed because I had an idea that I wanted to write for you. Well, I've had a couple of ideas that I want to write for you. I want to write loads of things for you, and you're getting too successful now.
I'm not.
Okay. But I had an idea that I think you would have been great for about lay about Uncle, who doesn't really have any relationships and doesn't do anything. So far, it's sounding quite like Uncle. But the difference is, in my sitcom, that he then becomes pregnant somehow.
So that's like mixing the thing that I've already done with my favourite film, Junior.
Yeah, it is. It's similar, but I kind of, because I used to, we have a similar build. You're a little taller than I am, but I've always had a little bit of a tummy, and when my nephews and nieces were young, I would pretend that I was pregnant. I'd go, I'd make it kick and stuff like that. I've lost so much weight, it doesn't really work now. And so then I thought it'd be funny to do a sitcom about a guy who's like that, who doesn't want to have kids and hasn't got married, who then somehow becomes pregnant by some. Sometimes like some fish and stuff can change sex, can't they? And have.
Yeah.
It's part of the mystery of how he became pregnant, to be honest. but then he has to bring up this child that is on his own. Would you like to do that? We could just do it in the second series of Uncle if you like.
This is really unprofessional. I've told you before that you should go through my agent.
But I'm annoyed because I don't think I can do that now.
I had a similar idea for Uncle before Uncle was written by someone else.
Yeah.
Uncle was written by someone else. I didn't write Uncle. Okay? Good. Stop asking me for parts. Don't write it. So I had a similar idea, which was basically about me corrupting a young child.
Yeah.
But BBC weren't up for it.
Could I be an uncle? I could be your uncle in Uncle.
Yeah.
We could call Uncle's. We could do one called Uncle's Uncle. And I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And then you have to help me look after. You have to help me look after the baby because I can't cope with it. It's sort of similar to Uncle. So you're not allowed to be rude in front of the actual child, though. Is that right? In the
yeah, we're not allowed to swear. Yeah. So the show is I think I play an uncle. I don't know if anyone's picked up on that. If you haven't seen it, I play an uncle of a. I think we did the pilot. He was 11, and when we did the series, we had to refilm the pilot because he'd grown. And so would I. And and so he's like this cute 11-year-old, 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And I'm his crap uncle. And that is as funny as it gets. So don't bother if you haven't seen it. So this guy called Oliver Refn wrote it. And so I in the first series, and when we did the pilot for Channel 4, it was before like all of this stuff had happened. You know.
I'm aware of the stuff.
Yeah. So with you do know. You're looking at me like you don't know, right? But you know. All of the.
There's been some stuff in the news.
There's been some stuff in the news over the last,
Have you been reading the news?
The stuff in the news.
She's aware. We're all aware of the news.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
I'm just worried about what the series used to be before that came out and ruined it. It was all about everyone just having sex with a kid. It was very funny. And then that comes along.
His mum was fine with Jimmy Savile, yeah? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, good. So when we filmed the pilot, things were a lot more relaxed around kids, and we'd swear a bit, and it was fine. And his mum was there, and it was all right. And then when we moved over to BBC, things had been a little bit tough. And they'd clamped down on some things.
I'd say they're shutting the door after the horse has bolted there.
It's just like, why should I suffer for the sins of our forefathers? So we weren't allowed to swear, or there's no sexual references or drugs or drug references, I should say. We did drugs in front of him. We just weren't allowed to talk about them. And it was a bit of a shame because when we did the pilot, we had a long scene where I was in the car, and basically we were sat in a car together, and there was like crew, but they were all kind of like 20 feet away, and we were all mic'd up, and we would have to spend hours in this car, and we got on really well, and we'd kind of like we were on this, bless you, we were on this low loader, and which is like a truck. It's kind of like a trailer, because I can't drive, but it wouldn't matter anyway.
When you're filming, if you're driving scenes, they
put you on a little
so you don't have to worry
trolley,
about
and they drive you around in like a lap, and you go round and round, and you film it all. And we did that, and we'd just swear. He swears a lot, And
have you learned any swear words from him that you didn't know? Has he corrupted you?
I didn't know the word fuck before I met him. I didn't know the cunt word. It was he swears. He used to swear a lot. But so now it's got to the point where you're not allowed to swear in front of him. I didn't swear in front of him once.
No.
I swear a lot. And I didn't swear in front of him for an entire 7 weeks. And I was really proud of myself. I did that well. But him and his mum used to swear a lot in front of me to taunt me about how I'm not allowed, because it would get shut down from compliance, and no one on the set was allowed to swear in front of him. And so if I had a swearing scene, what would happen is I'd do the scene in the car, and we'd have a clean script, and I would kind of like not swear in front of the kid, and then. Elliot is the kid, and he'd be taken out, and then his mum would replace him because she was the same height, and she would wear a wig and his costume, and then you'd be able to swear in front of her. So every time there's a scene and it's me and the kid and I'm swearing, and it's a close-up of me and I'm swearing at the kid, I'm acting against a 30-something-year-old. It was like the end of Don't Look Now. But I'm acting against something that isn't the kid. Looks a bit like the kid until she turns around and you go, right? So what I guess the moral of this story is that I'm an amazing actor. I did really well with that. Yeah, so I'd never acted before, but yeah, you're not allowed, so they just wheel him out, wheel her in, and then...
Have you not? You really not? Because you are very good at it. You're but you've done, like, I've seen you do little plays and stuff on, I think You Stink, that's kind of acting, wasn't it? Mm. That's
sort of, yeah. I mean, I wanted to act.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to perform and do something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're very good. I'm surprised you haven't acted.
Well, that's nice of you to say, thank you. But I haven't done it before. Look what I just did there. I was acting like I didn't care, but I did. I've spilled some alcohol. It's fucking
valuable beer. We can get you more beer if you need more beer. So I'll ask you an emergency question because there has been an actual emergency of some beer for. That could... I've just been watching Final Destination 5 as I've been touring. I've been in Hull and Cardiff, been driven around, so I've been watching terrible films.
Which one is the fifth one?
It's when they are in a...
Have you seen them all?
I think I have, but you know what? At the end of Final Destination 5, they show clips of every single other Final Destination film and everyone being killed. And I barely recognised any of the actors in it.
What's Final Destination 5?
They're on a coach.
Is it the Final Destination?
It's called Final Destination 5.
It's actually called
V. They're on a coach that's on a bridge. Don't want to give too much away about the plot, but they escape from the coach. But what I don't get about we'll get onto this in a minute because when you ask. But what I don't get about the Final Destination films is why does fate allow the person to see a vision of what's going to happen if you're not allowed to change fate? That seems to be the mistake fate has made there. If people have to die when they've got to die, don't show them what's going to happen because they'll run away.
I think that is just coincidence.
Okay.
I think the fact that fate hasn't shown them future, it's just fate. That's fate that they're going to die.
Yeah.
But what's happened is that just so happens that all 5 times that's happened, there's just been someone involved in that accident that happens to be able to see in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my understanding of the series.
That makes more sense of it. But now, because I don't know why I watched it because I hate stuff like that because it's all about people having their eyes sliced out and knives flying into their faces and
second one's good though. Second one's really good.
Which one's the second one?
I think the second one is when the fence explodes and it goes.
Not many fans of Final Destination.
You're really just comedy fans, aren't you?
Final Destination franchise is very interesting. There is to give you quite a big spoiler about Final Destination 5. Should I do that? Yeah, I will. If you want to watch, if you haven't seen Final Destination 5...
I don't think I've seen Final Destination 5.
Don't listen to this then. At the end
I'm the only person that's interested in this.
At the end of...
You could have told me this in the dressing room.
At the end of Final Destination... That's what I like about this podcast. We're allowed to talk about what interests us and no one else cares.
You're ruining it for the only person that cares.
At the end of Final Destination 5, Nick... I don't want to ruin it for you, but they get on a plane flight, and then it turns out...
Yes, it's the one from the original, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, someone's already ruined that for me. Yeah. I don't even like that franchise very much.
I don't.
So.
But the point I was going to make is now, having watched that, every time anything like a little accident happens and some has happened there, some liquid drips on the floor, I'm just imagining that we're all going to get electrocuted and something terrible is going to happen. So it's a terrifying film. Don't watch it.
Oh, right.
That's my advice, because I've spoilt it for you. People have started talking over there because they don't like the
They
fun.
hate Final Destination.
Well,
It was amazing though, because this is as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
So really, when that's built,
Yeah.
I had a premonition that the next 5 minutes of everyone's life is going to be wasted.
you could have stopped us talking
We're all
about
right,
it.
guys. We're all
You
right.
could have
It's
gone
fine.
back.
It's fine.
I will ask you an emergency question because there's literally been an emergency. So that one finds emergencies amusing. I don't think she should. Would you rather have a hand made of ham or an armpit that dispenses sun cream? The ham is edible and you can nibble it a bit and it'll grow back. But if you ate the whole hand in one go, that'd be the end of your hand. The sun cream is just enough for your own personal use for a year. For as we go, you can't sell it.
What quality ham? Because sometimes you get a lot of like gristle, and you get like the white bits that go through it.
Yeah.
And
It would be third best quality ham.
from the very best ham.
Yeah.
Because you can get like.
No, it wouldn't be the very best because that.
We wouldn't be like your Parma.
No, it's not. Well, that's ironic, isn't it?
Because I'd have a Parma ham. Yeah.
You can have that one if you want. You can stick that in your. That's the kind of joke.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling my next show.
Parma ham.
Parma ham. Nick Hill's got a Parma ham. Who wants a nibble? That'll be my catchphrase. It's fucking good, Rich. It's writing itself.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd be nice ham, but it wouldn't be like cheap ham, but it wouldn't be like
the best.
Wouldn't be the
but
best,
okay, so it's the third best, right?
Yeah.
But out of a category of 10 or 5 or
Out of all the hams.
all the hams.
Yeah. It's the third best ham.
I never go anywhere hot, so it'd be the hand of ham.
Right.
Hang on, that's not good enough. It would be the sun cream. Yeah, it'd be the sun cream. Yeah, sorry.
People have a lot of fans of the sun cream in. You got to look after your skin.
You do.
Yeah, even in the UK, you can get some sun cancer. There's a little sun cancer.
Yeah, you can get sun
Yeah,
cancer.
you get sun cancer. That's cancer of your own sun. So be careful. If you, your semen can be affected by the sun rays if you're not, and then you have a child, and that child will have cancer. And when that happens, I'm going to come and laugh for you. I'm going to seek you out. Come and go, didn't I warn you about that? Okay, so
You're
apparently...
a really cuntish Rumpelstiltskin.
It was quite nasty as it was. If you had a penis that could travel through time in a little glory hole,
Yeah.
could go anywhere in history and go into anywhere in history, where would you put your penis in history?
Anywhere about 1,000 years ago.
Anywhere.
Because like people have grown, haven't they, over the years?
Yeah.
So they'll be smaller back then.
Yeah.
So proportionately, it would look impressive, wouldn't it? We go put the pyramid down. Look at that.
Your grasp on history is not great, I have to say.
All 300 years ago, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. Anywhere where hands, vaginas, and men's bum holes were smaller.
So a kindergarten.
How old am I?
Good question. You're still your age. You could go back to that island in Indonesia where the Hobbit people were. How about that? Was it in Indonesia where they discovered the... Come on, people, be with me. They discovered the new human species of little Hobbit people in Indonesia or something. You're nodding. You know what I'm talking about.
Pygmies?
They weren't pygmies. They were habiti flores or something they're called.
Well, there's no need for time travel then. Just go there now.
No, they're dead. They're not there anymore. They died about 8,000 years ago. So
I go 8,000 years ago.
I'm just guessing
That's
now.
even better.
Okay, I'll ask. We need another emergency question to get us out of the emergency questions, which have gone badly. To be honest, I thought this. I've got quite bad writing. I'll tell you what I thought this said. Did you have gonorrhea as a teenager?
What is it?
Did you go travelling as a teenager? The misreading is a much better question.
It's weird because that's how I got it.
Yeah. Did you have a year off or gap year and go away and...
Is this an emergency question?
Yeah.
But the other one was if you could put your dick anywhere in time.
Yeah.
And then if you had an armpit with sun cream and this is, did you go travelling when you were younger? I mean, it's tailing off, isn't it? Quality.
You've got to mix it up with the emergency questions. Do you want another one?
No, well, I didn't.
Have you ever put anything down your urethra? Have you ever done that? Have you ever tried that?
So I didn't have a passport till I was 25.
We have established that you weren't really a travelling person. What is it like being Nick Helm? That is an emergency question that made Stephen Fry, I asked him what's it like being Stephen Fry.
Oh, right. Yeah.
What's it like being Nick Helm?
Yeah, it's all right.
To be honest, that isn't as good as Stephen Fry's answer.
What was Stephen Fry's answer?
Well, he kind of went into, he said he had quite a nice life, but then he'd had some problems in the previous year, and then he admitted to something nasty that happened to him. What?
How fucking lazy are you? Download the fucking podcast. Fucking download his fucking podcast. All right, download, unless you are Stephen Fry, right, but download his fucking podcast, listen to that, right? He's not even reading. Fuck you. It's fucking annoying being Nick Helm. There's always some cunt that comes along and wants you to fucking talk about Stephen Fry and his tough year.
He had a very tough year. It's more than tough. So we're back to the proper questions now. We did very well with the emergency question. Can't believe that.
I'm annoyed now, Rich.
What? It's the best heckle ever. What? I'm not going to tell you. Yeah, that's what he didn't even pick up that. That's how stupid that man is. Not picked up a newspaper.
Not going to tell you. Oh, go on. That's what he said to you back. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
Was it?
He did the John Ronson. Oh,
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah, no, he didn't. Someone else did.
Oh.
I set him up for it.
We'll just edit this
I
bit.
set him up for it. We're going to edit to make you look more embarrassed.
It'll just be you asking questions and then a silence from me. And then every time I said something that was passably amusing, then you'll just fade out all the laughter. And then even more people will think I'm a cunt until I do countdown again.
That sounds good, that countdown. You grew up in St Albans?
Yeah.
Or you lived in St Albans?
I lived in St Albans, yeah.
How was it? Because I went there recently. We were looking, we thought we might move there, but I don't think we're gonna. Now I've heard that you were there as a teenager.
I think
with your gonorrhea.
I think I mean, good or bad. I think a lot of the reason I am the way I am today is because of
St Albans.
St Albans.
What particularly about St Albans made you as you are?
Why don't you want to live in St Albans?
Well, I kind of do, but it was slightly. Don't want to offend any of the listeners in St Albans.
My mum and dad live in St Albans.
Okay,
they will listen, but they don't like you anyway.
It was just slightly full of cunts. It's just like a place.
Where'd you go? The Cross Keys?
We went. No, it was. To be honest, I don't think we'd be able to live in St Albans because it's really expensive and there's no houses for sale because they get snapped up straight away.
They have had quite the boon of recent years.
There's a lot of things I like about St Albans. We used to be a massive fuck-off Roman city there, and that is still. That is still. I mean, there's nothing there, but they haven't built on top of it.
If you want to live in St Albans, you got to know 3 things.
Okay.
There's a clock tower.
Yeah.
There's a Waffle House.
Yeah.
And market day is Wednesday and Saturday.
I'd probably find those things out if I went to live in St Albans.
Well, you don't need to find them out now. You're way ahead of the rest. It was fine. I was born in St Bartholomew's in London, and I grew up in Finsbury Park.
Yes.
Just off Blackstock Road, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we were young back then.
Yeah.
It was great. And I went to a school with my sister. We went to a very multicultural school, and it was good. And I didn't know what Christianity was. And at school we used to sing Beatles songs, and all the teachers, everyone was happy. It was great. And it was me and my mate. And then we were in a little gang of about 8 of us, and there was only me and this other guy that were white, and everyone else was like everything. It was great. And then we moved to St Albans. Everyone was white, and it was kind of like. And then they were all reading these books, and it was just like, what the fuck is that? Bibbletown? What's that? And it was Bibletown. I didn't even know how to say the word Bible when we moved from St Albans because it was in the mid-'80s, and people started in Finsbury Park. They started threading syringes through our chicken wire fences at school, on the playground fences. And we'd come into school in the morning, we'd pick up syringes and have sword fights with them. And they had to have assemblies, and they said, "Don't do that." And we were like, "Oh, all right." And I don't think that was the reason. I think it just took too long to commute from one end. And we had there was a really nice, like, big house in London, just off Blackstock Road. One of them, like, old Victorian houses that were falling apart. It was good.
Sounds
and then
like
we moved to. I've never forgiven my parents for moving me to St Albans, really. So I moved back to London, and then I moved to Brighton for a year, and that was the worst year of my entire life. And then I moved back to.
If you were like Jesse in Breaking Bad, you'd have bought the house you grew up in.
Yeah.
Just to fuck off your parents, and then had to, take.
Well, we're not all on the same season, Rich.
No.
So,
so that sounds like don't move to St Albans.
No, it doesn't really. Well, it does.
We went got there and we went to a Thai restaurant. It wasn't that. It was in like a
Was
really
it Thai
nice,
Square?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was. It might have been. It's in a really old building. So it was I quite enjoyed it.
Is it like a street that's near the cathedral?
Yeah.
There's a couple of Thai restaurants down
Well, it's like in a really old building, and there's like a nice sort of medieval fireplace in there. And I liked it. It was all fusion of Thai stuff. But then we sat down, there was no one in there, and then loads of sixth formers came in and started having their lunch. And they always
You will get that in places.
spoiled it for us.
I don't think that's necessarily St Albans.
I think
but
it is.
actually around the corner.
What kids go to a Thai restaurant for their dinner? Only kids from St Albans. Oh, we'll go to the Thai restaurant. Fucking have some hot dog and chips out of a van in the back of the school. Don't come to a Thai restaurant and ruin it for me and my wife.
It's nice that they're embracing different cultures these days.
They are very. It is a sort of
It's
different
fun.
world than the 1980s.
St Albans was fine, but I just didn't. I didn't choose it at the time.
No. You're not going back.
I'm going back on Saturday.
See you, Mum.
You got to be. When's this coming out?
In the future.
Oh yeah, fucking cunt. No, I'm going back on Saturday. I'm going back on Saturday. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's nice. It's always nice going back, but at the same time, tell you what. Last time I went back to St Albans, I went back at Christmas, right? And like the pilot had come out, and I'd just done another pilot. And I'd done the bits and pieces on TV, but what's it like being Nick Helm? It's no different from how it's always been, right? Which is, I get very depressed, and I get very panicky, and I feel like I'm out of my depth all the time, and I just have a horrific need to be liked by people. And through trial and error, I found out the best way to do that is to call strangers cunts every night, right? And I went back to St Albans, and there was a big group of us out, and I offered, not like everyone, but we were all drinking together. And I said, who wants a drink, right? And there were 2 girls who I'm friends with, and they said, no, we're all right. And there's one girl that I've never really known, let's say. She's like an ex-girlfriend of a friend. And she asked for a glass of Prosecco. And I'm like, in what world is that acceptable? Do you know what I mean? But she'd kind of, it was like, checkmate, motherfucker. And it was like, fine. So I got her a glass of Prosecco and, you know. And then somebody said something at a table and someone's brother came over. And I was like, and we were all chatting. And I laughed because we were all around the table. I went, and the guy just looked at me and said, nobody cares that you're famous, right? And I was like, but I laughed. Do you know what I mean? I'm not even saying, I wouldn't even, you know, I'm not, I wouldn't describe myself as that or anything, and I'm not. And then I was walking down the street on my way home. This was Christmas Eve, right? And this was all Christmas Eve, and I was walking on the way home, and there's a pizza restaurant, and it sells pizzas for $2.99. They sell 7-inch pizzas. You can have any 3 toppings you like, and they give you a can of Coke, right?
I'm moving there.
It's fucking right. And me and my best mate, every Christmas and New Year, we'd literally go out and we'd get absolutely hammered until 3 o'clock in the morning. And then on the way home, we'd sort of ruin Christmas by the first thing we eat was this fucking $2.99 pizza on the way home. And he's got married and he's had a baby. And and he didn't come back this year. So on my way home, there was this I was feeling like rubbish and old and all that stuff. And there's this sign saying $2.99, right, this pizza. And I took a photo of it. I got my phone out and I took a photo of it. And I was sending this phone. I was drunk and I was kind of like, oh, I can't really see my phone. And I sent this text and I said, oh, Christmas isn't the same without you, yeah? Because it's like, oh, we used to go out and eat pizza every year and it was fucking pathetic, but it's nice. And I was trying to send it and then I had this man just like go, oh, this like kid with his girlfriend and they were standing like in my periphery, but I didn't associate with me. He went, oh, granddad, right? I was like, and then I heard him say it again, he went, oh, granddad. And I was like, and then he said it maybe 5 times, right? And I was like, hang on a minute, I think he means me, right? And like, I mean, I'm feeling old, I'm feeling fat, I'm feeling old. I've given up smoking, right? And I get put on loads of weight. And I was feeling fat and old, and I was like round, my only friends on Christmas Eve were like all like several years younger than me, and I was doing my best to fit in, and it was like, oh, and then they were like, I was like, oh, and then he called me granddad again. I was like, oh, no. And then I was walking down the road, and he started shouting it after me, like, going, granddad, granddad. And I was like, going, oh, and I had to wait at the crossing. I pressed the button, I was waiting at the crossing, and he goes, granddad. And then I suddenly stopped and went, does he mean uncle? Right? And he did. And it was like... So that's what it's like being a Helm.
It is. You're constantly mistaken for Clive Dunn. So he thinks that in the programme you're that child's granddad.
I just think he panicked and he went, ah! Yeah.
Weird. I think you should make that. You're a kid's weird granddad who's still a layabout. That would be good, that would work for me.
By the time he's a granddad, he'll have to be a layabout. And then it'll be like, oh, that's depressing.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry people were nasty to you.
No, it's fine. I think it's a funny story because you eventually, but you work through these awful things that happen. It's like, you know what I mean. You do, but it's like I was in St Albans and I thought I'll give this a go, and then I was bored and I was depressed and I was working in data entry and I thought I'd give stand-up a go. I think this is a hobby, and you don't. I didn't expect it to take me anywhere, and now look at me. So
you've been licked on the belly by your, what I'm assuming is your comedic hero. That's what I'm assuming. I'm just making that assumption. But you've actually been going up to Edinburgh for a ridiculous length of time for a man who is actually not very old. We'll add that. You certainly not a great. You could probably logistically be a granddad, but you'd have had to start quite early.
Legally 16.
Yeah.
Don't pause after that. That just made it sound sinister, didn't it? If I could be a granddad now if I'd have had a kid when I was 16 and my kid had a kid at 16.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give the game away. I'm 33. So
you could be a granddad of a 1-year-old child. What was I going to say?
I'm not that old.
No, you're not that old.
But
So you've been with Edinburgh since 1997?
Yeah, well, the good thing about going to St Albans was that my drama teacher at my school decided to take our school play up in 1997, so we were all 16. Well, we weren't actually, there were 6 formers that did it as well. We were year 11. And we went up to Edinburgh for a couple of weeks, I think, and we did Romeo and Juliet in Edinburgh. And that was good.
Who were you in Romeo and Juliet?
I was the prince in Romeo and Juliet.
The prince, that's not a...
Prince Aeschylus is his name,
Okay.
but every time you say, I was Prince Aeschylus, everyone goes, bigging your part up, are you? It's just like, no, you thinly red cunt. That was his fucking name.
What does Prince Aeschylus do? I don't remember.
He comes on at the beginning, he goes, he does the speech at the beginning, he does the speech at the end. So he's the one that says, for never was the story of more woe than that of Romeo and his... Oh, fuck. But he's the one that...
I just watched this production. Never was there a story of more woe than Romeo. Oh, fuck.
And he does the bit really good in as well.
Yeah.
He goes, he breaks up all the fights, basically. He comes along and goes, stop fighting. He's great. So I did that. Yeah.
And so when did you start into stand-up? I saw you. When I just met my wife, before she was my wife, the first summer we had together she was doing a show with you as a
Comedy O'Clock.
Comedy O'Clock.
We did a show. I did a show with Hannah George, Katie Wilkins, and Richard Bond in Edinburgh. So I did my first Edinburgh in '97, and then I wrote my first show in 2001. I did '97, '98, '99. Took a year off. 2001, I missed it, so I wrote my first show. Did another one in 2002. Took a year off. Missed it again. Wrote another show in 2004, took a year off, couldn't afford it, and then I've done every year since 2006. So in total, I've written about 22 Edinburgh shows.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, considering no one fucking knows who the fuck I am. It's like, but except for Grandad, so I did a show in 2007, which is 10 years after my first one, with Katie Wilkins, Hannah George.
It was 2008.
Was it 2008?
Yeah.
So 2007, I did a show with Gráinne Maguire and Sarah Campbell. And then the year after I did this is just watching a man remember things.
You can look at Wikipedia. You did a show with...
I did, it was called Comedy O'Clock, and I compared it, because I couldn't compare. Yeah. So I did it so that...
you couldn't.
No, because you came to see it once, and it was called Comedy O'Clock.
Because my girlfriend was in it. It would have been rude not to come.
So, that doesn't always happen.
That's true.
And because I'd go, what time is it? And everyone would go, and I'd go, it's Comedy O'Clock, motherfuckers! And that was how we kicked it off. It was brilliant. And I had one joke, and we were all very nervous because you were in, and I had a joke, and I can't remember what the joke was now, but I said it, and you laughed, and that, It's never... this is vomit-worthy, isn't it? But you don't know what I'm about to say, right? You laughed, and I said, fuck you patronising cunt. And I've never forgiven you for that support. No, it was very nice of you to come along.
It was nice to support young comedians, one of whom I was having sex with.
Thanks for that.
Which one is a good question? It was Nick Helm, and one of whom I would one day lick the belly button of.
The licking wasn't so bad, it was the finger fucking.
Yeah, it was weirdly, that was worse, wasn't it? But you did a show with...
Not weirdly, it was definitely worse.
Think that licking a man's belly would be worse than putting a finger in his belly button. You would think that, but, you would be wrong. I've done this. I've also blown a raspberry on Greg Davies's belly as well. I've done a lot of... It's almost like I just make up these things, put them up myself, just so I can touch the bellies and kiss the bellies of slightly fat comedians. Because I can't do... Because as hard as I try, I can't do my own belly. Got the end of my cock in, but Have you ever tried to suck your own cock, Nick Helm? Talking of licking your own belly?
Yeah, of course I have.
Yeah, how did you get on?
Because you've asked me this before.
Yeah.
And it was a really good response
Oh,
that I
was
did,
it?
and I was so tempted to say it again.
Okay, do it again, because no one knows.
Oh, go on, do it again then.
Have you ever tried to suck your own cock?
Of course I have.
How did you get on?
Well, I'm here, aren't I?
It's good.
Obviously not as good as I remembered it. I mean, that is a fucking 5-alarm fire, that one.
It's good that we've got a bit. But, well, you're interesting because you had some... the last couple of years you've been nominated for the big award in Edinburgh. But in Edinburgh you also had, like in the 2000s, you had some shows that got like 1-star reviews. You did a show with Josh Widdicombe and James Acaster and you, which are like 3 of the actual biggest names in upcoming comedy now.
3 of the biggest names in upcoming comedy. Me, James Acaster and Josh Widdicombe did a show together, and there's 2 venues in Edinburgh. There's the Voodoo Rooms, which is a free fringe venue, which is fucking brilliant. Right, people, Kerry Lloyd did that a couple of years ago, and she got nominated before it was the in thing to go and see free fringe shows and nominate them. It was great. And then there's another bar called the Voodoo Bar, and that is that's pretty much in Glasgow, and you just keep walking away from the town centre, and we were doing it. We were flying it for about 2 weeks. And it was only 3 weeks, the festival. We were flying it for like 2 weeks, and then someone came along by chance and said, "Oh, what are you doing?" It's just like, "Oh, we're doing a show." And he went, "Not here." It's like, "Yeah, we're doing a show." "Oh, you don't want to be doing it here?" It's like, "Well, why not?" And he goes, "Well, these 3 roads that you're on, they're called the Bermuda Triangle, right? Because nobody knows that they exist, right? And this road that you're on here is the quietest road of all 3 of them, right?" And that was where we were for a month, right? And we were like doing these shows every day, and the guy, there was a show on before us, but often what would happen was the person that owned the bar, he would have only just opened, and when we got there it still smelt of bleach, which meant that, because he'd cleaned everything,
he wasn't disposing of bodies.
The smell of lime, but that would be more to do with the Bacardi, because lime is different from lime.
Yeah.
And so it smelt of bleach when we went in, and it was really good because there was like a specials board, but they'd spelt it wrong, and it said Spiels, and we loved that. "Oh, fuck off, you're odd." He's asleep. And it's like, "I don't want to be here, mate." It was...
Hold on.
It was...
Don't wake him up. Don't wake him up.
Nick Helm's anecdotes. Fuck me. I'm not an anecdotal comedian. This ain't right. Jesus Christ.
She's hiding his identity. That's the most worrying thing about it. I don't think you're not. We can not show that if you're having an illicit affair. But if you're having an illicit affair, it's not going very well, darling. Unless it's going really well, you've been wanking him off. Well. No, I'm tired, mate. I'd love to be asleep now.
Yeah.
I've got to fucking work here. I'd love just be having a little rest. Do carry on. If I get to sleep at night and you're talking, I might sort of be half dreaming about what you're talking. That's what I imagine's happening to that guy. What's amazing is he hasn't even woken up. I think he might be dead. That's why she's hiding his identity. I think she might have murdered him. Maybe it's a Weekend at Bernie's scenario.
not dead, though, is he? Is he dead? That could be the only reason to not be paying full attention to my Spiels anecdote. I mean, it's funny when you see it written down. Which, of course, he never will. Thanks for saving me, actually, with that wanking stuff. Yeah. So anyway, it was a really bad gig.
So did anyone?
It was a bad gig. It was a bad gig. Bad gig. And so we got like a few people in. And the day that we had 4 comedians that came to see us, or maybe it was 3 comedians, and they all sat in the front row. It's a tiny little place, and it was like filled with broken glass and dreams. And it was filled, and there was a big bucket at the back of the room, and we didn't realise it was there for a few weeks. And then by the time we got to it, it was like, and it was just a bucket, huge. It was like one of them old baths, you know, those metal.
Oh yeah, little tin bath. Yeah.
And it was filled to the brim with stagnant water. And people had just been breathing that in for the whole time. And when you went down the corridor, you went down these stairs, and it was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And you'd go in this room, and it was this bar, and there was like light fittings on the wall that had been shattered, and there was like 3 kind of poofs to sit on, and there was some wooden chairs, like an odd collection of chairs. And James Acaster, I think. He kind of like, there was no microphone for that venue, so he volunteered his microphone, and that got stolen. And so there was no microphone for the venue. It was tiny though. It was you could fit about 10 people in there. And then and to top it all off, it was just awful for a whole month to be there. I think this is my month. And then literally to this day, it's the worst room I've ever been in, let alone venue, right? And to top all of this off, for some sort of, sarcastic decoration, they'd put up 3 kind of like partially deflated balloons on the wall, as if to remind you that once there were good times here, but something tragic happened at a birthday party, and no one's been back since. And we did this thing, and so we had 3 comedians on the front row, 3 or 4 comedians on the front row, and this one quiet girl at the back. And the gig went badly. And what would happen was, I think Josh compared, James went on first, and then Josh compared, and then I was the safe pair of hands. So I'd go on, and I still do it. It's kind of like my act, is that I pretend to have a breakdown. And that's fine when people laugh, right? But when they're not laughing, it's just theatre, right? And it's the most depressing theatre you've ever seen. And it was just me in this horrible room with three of my colleagues, 3 comedians on the front row, just staring me out. And this one girl at the back who we didn't know, but she kept making notes. And it turned out she worked for 3 weeks, and she gave us a 1-star review. Oh. And no, it's fine, because we're all over it. That's why I don't talk about it anymore. But it was like me, James, and Josh Widdicombe, and so we quite rightly thought we've done quite well in the last couple of years. I think it's time to put our demons to rest. So we did a show at the Machynlleth Comedy Festival where James and Josh had decided that they'd improvise for it, and then that just fucking culminated in just 3 people shouting at a scared audience for an hour. Right, so that was shit. And then we decided, after you did the lyric, you stopped doing the lyric.
Yeah.
And when you stopped doing the lyric theatre, me, James, and Josh took over your mantle of the lyric theatre. And we said, we'll do Acaster, Helm, and Widdicombe live at the Voodoo Bar. We'll show her. We'll even call it the same thing. And we called it Voodoo Nights, actually. Right. And we did it, and they said, because they did a show together after this awful 1-star show that we did, but they did a show together where they just went on stage. It was like Patil and Skinner Unplanned, where they took suggestions from, they just chatted with each other. They're great at improvising and doing stuff. I'm not so much. I kind of need to know what I'm doing before I go on. And so they have all of these skills together, and they were kind of like, well, we're going to go on at the lyric, and we're going to kind of improvise, and then you're going to come on and do what you do, Nick. You'll just shout at people. And I was like, well, you are kind of like undermining me a little bit. There's a little bit more thought to that than that. And I did it, and it went very badly. And people absolutely hated us, but mainly me. And then afterwards, I was in the bar with James and Josh and my friends and family. And it had gone badly, and I'd known it had gone badly. And this man came up to me, and he was incensed. He was so angry. He was so angry. And we'd started at 6 in the morning. I genuinely meant afternoon then. But we started at 6, and the idea was that, you know, it's Sunday night, so people can go off and do something else afterwards. And yeah, so this guy came up to me and goes, that was the worst, you're rubbish, you're rubbish, you're rubbish. But I'm not exaggerating. He came up and he shouted at me in front of and I was just, I'm a normal human being, really. You're rubbish, you're rubbish. And I was like, yeah, well, I appreciate it didn't go that well tonight, you know. I'm not, you know, but I didn't apologise, I appreciate it. But James and Josh were all right, weren't they? Right? Like pointed at him, he goes, yes, they are, because they're comedians. They know what they're doing. Right? What was that? That was nothing. That was what? You're awful. You're rubbish. And it's like my family there, and I'm just there going, well, you know, I mean. I wouldn't put it that way exactly. It does normally go a lot better. And then he walked off, and he was so angry that he couldn't walk off. And he stopped, and he came back again and said, yeah. And I said, well, all right, because I don't want to make enemies. I said, we'll put it this way, right? It started at 6. It's 9:30 now, right? You didn't enjoy tonight, but there's still time to go off and do something that you really do enjoy, right? And that was like pouring paraffin onto a bonfire. And he goes, I'm never coming back here again. I'm signing a complaint. That's what we did the week after you left, all right? And then we went and did it. And then I went out for dinner with everyone, and that was silent. And then we did it one more time, and then we couldn't do it anymore. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. So well done for sticking that out for so long.
They used to very.
Do you want to talk about the time that I was bullied in the?
They used a very high standard of comedy at the Lyric after what I gave them. So.
Yeah,
that never happened to me. Well, in a way, I stopped doing that Lyric gig, and then I started doing this because I got fed up of them kind of not giving me enough money to pay the acts properly. So I thought I'd just do it myself. So, you know, in the way the Lyric, although they destroyed your career, this wouldn't be here without them.
I applied for a job at the Lyric before, but, you know, when I didn't have a job and I needed one.
And did that man come and go, you're the worst usher I've ever seen?
No,
you couldn't ush anything.
I didn't get the job because I was very, very depressed at the time, and I didn't have any self-confidence or belief. And it was like the head of education at the Lyric for educational theatre, and I was kind of qualified. And I went in and they said, why do you want this job? And I kind of went, I don't know really. And then it went very introspective for about 10 minutes. And I didn't get it, but I've got the rejection letter. And then when we went back to the Lyric, I thought, yeah, not only will I show you for the Voodoo Bar, right? Me, Acaster and Widdicombe are really going to stick it to that 1-star review in 3 weeks for the Voodoo Bar, Voodoo Nights. But I'm going to stick it to the Lyric. Now you want me. And they didn't. And so I guess the thing is to never think that you're above yourself and look back on your past mistakes and failures and think that it was their fault. Because it is your fault. It's always your fault. If you fucked up in the past, it's your fault. And if you're still thinking about it now, you've learned and you're a success story. For the viewers at home.
Yeah.
I looked a bit miserable. That's
all right. Some of them can see. There's still only one person. If anyone else wants to go to sleep, just feel feel free. Yeah.
It's a long old night, isn't it?
Still asleep. Well, it's getting late. I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore. I'm just on the road all the time. It's just a terrible, terrible thing. But we can't leave it there, Nick. Can we? Can we leave it there? No, we're not. We wouldn't dare leave it there. Because listen to that just awkward silence.
I don't think it's awkward. I think they're thinking, yeah. Do you know what? Let's get a taxi home tonight.
We could all just stay here tonight and sleep. I think he might be. Did he do this? Did he fall asleep a lot? Do you know him? Yeah, you do know, because you were kind of touching his face and stuff, so that'd be...
Look, we all like a laugh, right? But if he is dead, right, do pipe up. Because we're only going to find out about it later. You can wake him up. I don't think you'd really...
I tried. I can't wake him up.
She's tried to wake him up, but she can't wake him up. That probably means he is... Is he, like, breathing? Is his heart beating and stuff? Because, if he's... if 10 minutes ago... If 10 minutes we got the medics out, we could have saved his life, but...
Can you extend one of his fingers just so it's like pointing? And oh, we got a volunteer. So he'll come here. Right, is he all right?
I'm fine.
Not you. He is just sleeping.
How long have you known him for? Are you in a relationship with him? Are you? So does he do this a lot, or is it just because we... Yeah. He started weekends and he hasn't any sleep. He should probably have stayed at home tonight. He thought ahead. It's nice. I'm really tired and I've managed to stay awake. Even through some of these bits were really boring. And I've stayed fully awake.
Wow.
Oh God! Should we go and have a drink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not you, mate.
None of you. The butlers could come and the butlers could bring us some drinks. They would love that. There was loads more to talk about, and I was going to talk about whether the heartbreak and depression you play on stage is real, but I think we've found out that it definitely is.
Yeah, well,
Oh, it's
better to find out that it's all true, isn't it?
Yeah,
than it is to think that I'm just making money off of fucking, mental health issues.
Yeah. Are you going to be doing Edinburgh in 2014? The Fringe.
That's this year.
Yeah.
That's a trick question.
I just said it in case people were listening in the year 2064 when all these people are dead and... one of them is already dead. Yeah, that's it. That's the irony. Here's laughter from earlier where people can listen to that. And last week's, and that guy's dead now.
He really is, yeah.
And then they can listen to you laughing at him being dead. Go, he actually was dead though. They'll know he actually was dead, and then they'll hear you laughing. And are you gonna be back doing the because?
I think, yeah.
You're
I'm not
busy
really.
Because you're doing you're doing your own TV show, you're doing more of Uncle.
I'm doing I'm writing a TV show now, and we're filming that in June, and that'll be on in the autumn maybe. Okay. And then we're doing Uncle again, and then BBC Three closes, and I'm out of a job. And I did that. So
I reckon you'll leapfrog onto BBC Two with that, don't you?
We may well, I don't know. But so for Edinburgh, I'm not writing a show. I was going to do the Free Fringe to have a bit of fun, like I did in 2009, but I'm not doing it now. I don't have time because I've got to edit my TV show. But yeah. I'm possibly doing 2 dates up in Edinburgh.
Good. Well, everyone should come and see it. It's absolutely fantastic. Stand-up comedian, as well as a very good actor, it turns out. And quite
I look like I liked you.
Quite a nice bloke. Look
like I like you cunt. And then what was the third thing? Quite a nice bloke. Yeah. Oh, bollocks.
He's nice in real life. He doesn't say cunt to you at all in real life. And just like me, we're very similar. It's almost like he's just seen what I've done, thought, how could I make that commercial? I like to think that I've influenced every single comedian when I haven't influenced any of them. That's what I like
I saw Stuart Lee at that award ceremony I was at. And, and he was very nice. He hugged my mum when I got an award.
Did he?
Yeah, so say hello to him when you see him.
I will. Whereas I obliquely called your parents cunts.
I kind of did that as well.
Yeah, you did as well, so that's fine. That's fine. He's a nice guy. He's quite a nice guy. Yeah. I wanted to get talking to John Ronson about psychopaths, but we didn't get onto that. So I don't know why. Don't know what connected those two thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you can see me. Oh, God.
Doing a little modern-day Charlie Chaplin-based routine there for the people watching on the video. Will you give... Yeah. Should we just stay until one of us falls asleep?
It's a long old night, He's up!
He's up! He's alive! He was alive! He was dead and now
you don't know this, but while you were out, we extracted some semen out of your testicles.
I like his face. It's like he's written. His face looks like he's woken up after a 50 years. So he looks like some kind of hibernating creature that's just.
For the listeners of the future, he's not dead yet, but he is dead now.
He is dead for you. Just, I think we'll let you go home and get some rest. We were going to do another hour, but I think we'll let you get home and get some rest. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the amazing Nick Helm. Thank you for listening to this series. We're back in September with more. Thank you very much. Cheers.
How'd you like them sky potatoes?